All right, today we're tackling something huge, the EU's landmark AI Act. This isn't just another piece of regulation. It's a rule book that's about to change how AI gets built and used, not just in Europe, but probably everywhere.
I mean, think about it. AI is evolving so fast, it's hard to keep up. It's in our phones, it's driving our cars, it's making all these critical decisions that affect our lives every single day. And with all that power, it raises a massive question. How do we get a handle on the risks and make sure this stuff is safe and fair for all of us?
Well, the European Union is taking a major swing at an answer. They've created the AI Act, which is basically the world's first comprehensive legal framework for artificial intelligence. You can think of it as the first real rulebook for AI, designed to manage the risks so we can actually trust the technology.
So how does this whole thing work? Well, the core idea behind the Act is actually pretty smart. It doesn't just treat all AI the same. Instead, everything is based on a risk-based approach, which we can picture as a pyramid.
So here it is, the AI risk pyramid. Down at the bottom, you've got your minimal risk AI. We're talking about things like spam filters or the AI in a video game. The rules down here, super light. But as you climb the pyramid, things get serious. You move up through limited risk to high risk, and the rules get much, much stricter. And then at the very top, you have AI that poses an unacceptable risk.
So what's considered so bad that it's unacceptable? Well, these are the things that are seen as a clear threat to our fundamental rights, so they're just banned outright. This includes stuff like social scoring systems run by governments, scraping the entire internet or CCTV for facial images to build databases, and using emotion recognition tech on employees or students.
Okay, so banning the really bad stuff is a big deal. But where the AI Act really gets interesting, where most of the rules actually kick in, is that next level down, high-risk AI. This is the category that's going to affect a ton of industries. So what does high risk even mean? The Act defines it as any system that could have a really significant, harmful impact on someone's health, their safety, or their fundamental rights. It's all about the potential for causing real, serious harm to people. And to make it super clear, the Act lists specific areas where AI just gets automatically slapped with that high-risk label. We're talking about AI used for biometric identification, managing critical things like our water and electricity grids, systems used in hiring and firing, algorithms that decide if you get a loan, and of course, any tools used in law enforcement or border control. These are all areas where one wrong move by an AI could have huge consequences. Okay, so we have this law, right? But, and this is a big but, it's one thing to write a rule and a completely different thing to actually make it work in the real world. That brings us to the massive challenge of implementation. And this really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Act says an AI system has to have, say, human oversight. That sounds great. But if you're a developer, what do you actually build? What do you test for? There's this huge gap between the legal language and the technical reality. And to solve this exact problem, some researchers have developed what's called a verification framework. The whole point is to be a kind of translator, to turn that lofty legal language from the Act into specific, concrete technical checks that developers can actually build and auditors can actually test. And check this out. Here's exactly how it works. It's pretty brilliant. On the left, you've got the legal requirement from the Act, like Article 14, which demands human oversight. And on the right, you have the direct technical translation. Does the system have a manual override function, a big red stop button? The law requires record keeping, so the framework checks, are the system's decisions being logged somewhere? This kind of mapping makes being compliant something you can actually do. So we've got the law, and we've got a way to check if AI systems are following it. But whose job is it to make sure all this actually happens? The Act is super specific about who is responsible for what. And this is so important. The Act splits the responsibility between the provider, that's the company building the AI, and the deployer, the organization actually using it. The provider has to do the heavy lifting on design and documentation, but the deployer isn't off the hook. They have to make sure there's human oversight, and really importantly, they have to do a fundamental rights impact assessment before they even turn the system on. And believe me, you do not want to ignore these rules. The AI Act has some serious teeth. For the worst offenses, like using a banned AI system, the fines are absolutely massive. We're talking up to 35 million euros, or 7% of your company's global turnover, whichever is higher. You know, at the end of the day, this isn't about stopping AI in its tracks. Far from it. The big idea here is that by creating clear, predictable rules, the EU can build public trust, which in turn will actually encourage more innovation, but in a way that's safe for everyone.
And that leaves us with a big cliffhanger. We've all seen this play out before with data privacy and GDPR, what they call the Brussels effect. So the question on everyone's mind is, will the EU's AI rulebook become the world's rulebook? Will this be the standard that defines the future of trustworthy AI for all of us? The whole world is watching.